Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bloggers Creating Courses, which is wonderful that we have got to episode 24 already. And if this is the first time you're listening to this podcast, please feel free to go back and listen over the previous 23 episodes. But for something that started out as a bit of a hobby and a side project to my business, I am just thrilled that we have got this far, and however many months into the podcast, it's absolutely incredible, and we have got so many guests who are lined up and recordings that have been done for future episodes. So thank you so much to everybody who's supported the podcast so far and is continuing to support the podcast going forward. On that note, I just want to shout out to the lovely Krista, who has left me a wonderful 5-star review on Apple Podcasts from all the way from America. She has said she is so happy to have found this podcast a great listen for those of us wanting to grow a thriving and successful online business. Krista, as with all of my reviews, thank you so much. It means so much to get these reviews. It means that we are steering in the right direction with the podcast and we are reaching amazing women like yourself who are growing their online businesses. And on the point of online business, I've got so much that is happening in my own business at the moment. I'm not going to tell you too much what is going on. If you've been on my Instagram, then you've probably seen some little hints here and there, but in the next few weeks, within the next month, probably by about October, there's going to be some really exciting things coming up. So make sure you're following me on Instagram at VeritySongCon to find out what is going on and the exciting projects that I'm working on and are going to be released soon. Today on the podcast, though, I have got the pleasure of welcoming the wonderful Ana Katz. Ana is a Facebook and Instagram ad strategist who works with online course creators and e-commerce businesses that have an eye on the future and are ready to make bigger impacts. She focuses on getting her clients bigger results, major traffic, more sales, and customers who can't stop talking about your brand. So let's dive into the episode. Welcome to Bloggers Creating Courses, the podcast which will take you behind the scenes of creating an online course. I'm your host, Verity Songon, founder and education consultant of veritysongon.com. I'm so excited to help you create an online course that you are proud of and to be part of your journey to scale your business as an online course creator. Let's get into the episode. Ana, I am absolutely thrilled to have you on this episode today because it feels like we've been planning this episode for absolutely ages, and then like with our calendar schedules and trying to get together and the kids and stuff, and then I've just logged on today and my computer froze. So I feel like it's been a long time in the making to have you on the show. So my husband keeps telling me off for using the word excited because apparently I say to all of my guests, I'm really excited to have you here, but I am really excited to have you here because, like I said, it's just been so long in the making, it feels.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to finally be here. Yeah, I feel like we've been trying to do it and finally we got together.
Absolutely. And it's brilliant. We've got so much that we are going to cover in this episode, but we're going to be talking about Facebook ads, which I feel is such a huge topic, but it's totally your area of expertise. So before we jump into that discussion, tell us who you are, what it is you do, and why I'm calling you an expert when it comes to Facebook ads.
So I am Ana Katz, and I am the owner of Ana Katz Digital, a digital marketing agency that specializes on Facebook and Instagram ads for online business owners. And I am also a digital marketing coach for online business owners. I am located in New York. And yeah, I'm also a mama of two and happy to be here.
Well, it's brilliant to have you here. And we know that Facebook ads, it is such a huge topic and a lot of people see it as a really complex topic as well. But that's why I've got you on today, because we're going to break this down and make it a bit more approachable and not such a scary scary thing for our lovely listeners there. But one thing I am going to jump in, it's quite a big question to start with, but the first thing that I'm going to jump in with is, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see when people are running their own Facebook ads?
Yes, that's such a good question. And everybody should start with this question, because I cannot tell you how many people have come my way saying, Facebook ads have not worked for me, but it's because they literally haven't taken a course, haven't taken the time to learn it, and then give Facebook their money. They're just like throwing up the money, like throwing their money blindly. Can I tell you how many people think Facebook ads is boosting posts?
Go on.
Which is, I got this question yesterday, which is a big no-no. Like, if somebody is boosting posts right now, please stop doing that, because it's like throwing money, like let's say to the ocean, and hoping the ocean will give you something back in return, some kind of like money back in return. Because with boosting posts, you cannot follow a strategy. You're just like literally giving Facebook your money and then hoping your business will grow out of it.
So it's a good marketing strategy for Facebook, just not for you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Facebook love. That's why they haven't taken out that boost button, because they can get money from it. But before you get started with Facebook ads, the first thing you got to do is make sure you have a strategy. Without a strategy in place, you are going to be one of those people that tries Facebook ads for a month or two, and then you're going to say Facebook ads didn't work for you. And the main thing you should tackle in your strategy is making sure you are walking people through a funnel. What do I mean by a funnel? Don't just use Facebook ads to sell your product or your course or whatever you want people to buy from you. Use Facebook ads the same way you use your organic social media or your email marketing. People are here to build relationships with you. And if you're not building the relationships with them, either through Facebook ads or through your other marketing channels, they're not going to buy from you, or your cost per conversions are going to be very, very high. So always make sure you're walking people through a funnel where you're first engaging them. You're first giving them really good value without selling them on something, where they're falling in love, not just with the content that you're providing, but with your brand and with you. Because people don't want really your product, they want you, right? And then from there, walk them through a funnel, brand awareness, engaging, and then put them into your email list. And then from there, sell them your product, and then make them become raving fans from your business that they cannot stop referring your friends to you.
I love that. I love that idea of a strategy, because I'm going to throw in something quite funny about, because I was there recently of, hey, Facebook, here's my credit card details. Go
take my money.
Exactly. Here's my Canva graphic. Go crazy. And I don't know how I did it, but I managed to, the only people I could attract to my adverts were women over the age of 65, which really amused me, because that's not my target demographic. I've got no problem with working with women over the age of 65, but they're not my target demographic, and they're not the people that I've worked with to date. So yes, I had that exact issue of throwing some money at Facebook and then being like, well, this isn't quite what I expected. And like you said, you go back to it, you look at the strategy, you work with people who know what they're doing, and all of a sudden everything turns 180 and things start working. But because of that, I completely understand what you're saying, how easy it is for people to then be like, well, Facebook took my money for a month and it didn't work out for me. And like you said, it's making sure that there's a strategy, because just giving money to Facebook isn't a strategy at all.
Correct.
So I guess off of the back of that then, because there's probably some people who have already who have just listened to that little section there and are immediately thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not at the place in my business where I can afford a course or afford a coach or, to outsource this in any way. So I guess my next question then is it possible to run successful Facebook ads without somebody like yourself who's got that professional knowledge? Is there a way that you can DIY it yourself and still have even just a little bit of success?
I mean, there is always a way, right? That's how we all start, even in our businesses, is trial and error. But there is a slow way and there is a fast way.
Mm-hmm.
So the slow way is you go and try to do it yourself. What I will suggest you to do is there's a lot of content on YouTube, including myself. I put out content almost every week, giving really good tips on how to properly advertise on Facebook and Instagram. But it's gonna take you longer. It's gonna take you longer to figure out the right strategy, which objective to pick, which ad, which piece of content, and how to properly walk people into a funnel. The faster way is trying to learn, buy the course or learn from a coach or hire somebody. It will get you results faster because you will know exactly what to do and what not only buttons to push, because anybody can teach you how to push buttons, but what strategy to follow for it to work for you. So you can either definitely do it yourself or find a way to learn it. It just depends on how fast you want to go.
100%. And I guess it's one of those things as well that, yes, it might be a little bit of an upfront cost, but if we suddenly take away the word cost and we put in the word investment instead, then you could argue that actually you're going to save yourself money in the long term, because you're not going to have those months and months of, well, why didn't this work and why didn't that work? Whereas you can just have somebody who comes in and goes, actually, if we change that line of copy, if we look at this graphic, if we look at this part of the funnel, if we, whatever it is that's part of that strategy. And as I said, if we look at it as an investment for our business long term, then as you said, you're going to get there that bit quicker than sitting there. Well, actually a lot quicker than sitting there watching the YouTube videos and everything, because I mean, we'll have your YouTube channel linked in the show notes below so people can go and check that out. But for somebody who doesn't have access to kind of quote unquote, that right information, that up-to-date information, that's a lot of YouTube videos that you're going to be trawling through before you find the one that's got the in-date information, and because we know how quickly algorithms change and all the rest of it. So it's thinking, what is that initial investment, and how is that initial upfront investment actually going to save me money and time as well? Because it's not always just about money. As I said, if you're spending so long watching YouTube videos and doing all the research and what have you, and you could be researching in completely the wrong places instead of just coming to somebody like yourself who you do this day in, day out, how to get results in, in these areas. So my next question is probably a little bit of a curveball one, but are there any situations where you wouldn't recommend using Facebook ads? Are there any kind of types of niches or businesses or things where you think, actually, do you know what, a Facebook ad won't work for you? Or can Facebook ads be used for anybody in any niche in any business?
So the only time I recommend not to use Facebook ads without being 100% sure if you're going to get your return on investment back is if you don't have a proven offer. If you don't know if your product sells or your course or whatever you're selling, make sure you prove your offer first with your organic audience before you run ads, because you're going to be wondering if what's not working is the ads or the offer. When you're running Facebook ads, you just want to be wondering if what's not working is the ads and what to optimize. When you don't know if your offer sells, you don't know what's not working, if it's your offer or the ads.
And I think that's interesting as well, because when I did an episode a little while ago about webinars, Melissa Gala, who I interviewed for that, she said exactly the same thing. Don't put a webinar in unless you know that your product actually sells, because otherwise you're putting all these things in your funnel. And if something's not selling, you don't know what the kind of point of failure is. So I think that's really interesting that you and her have both picked up on exactly the same, the same factor there. And I think that's really useful as well for people to be thinking of. They've got a new course, a new service, don't necessarily get the credit card out. But yeah, so I think it's really interesting that you've both picked up on exactly the same points there. So for somebody who is thinking of creating a Facebook ad or starting their first campaign or what have you there, do you have any recommendations around what is a good starting budget for running Facebook ads? Because a lot of people, you hear so many things. I was listening to a podcast recently where somebody was saying, do your $10 a day challenge. $10 is all you need to spend. Then I read something else recently where they said, if you want to spend less than $1,000 on Facebook ads, don't even bother. You need to be spending at a minimum of $1,000 a month. And I was like, well, hang on a minute, $300 versus $1,000 minimum. That's a big gap. So I'm interested to know if you've got any thoughts about that at all, or does it vary per niche?
It all depends on the type of business that you have. You know, if you're selling a $10 product, it's much different than if you're selling a $3,000 product.
Sure.
Right. So I always recommend, my first recommendation to businesses that want to start advertising on Facebook ads is first see what your marketing budget is going to be on the long term. When you're like consistently, I can spend $500 on Facebook ads for the next 12 months, or consistently I can spend $3,000 on Facebook ads for the next 12 months, or consistently I can only spend $100 on Facebook ads for the next 12 months. Make sure you have a long-term strategy, because if you don't, you're going to quit when you fail. And your Facebook ads is going to work for you no matter what. It's about test. And then when you think you're done testing, you test a little more to scale and optimize. So first, make sure, check your budget and see how much money you can spend, like realistically, every month on Facebook ads for the next 12 months. And then from there, work on the strategy that works for you. For example, with people don't have like big budget, I would recommend first starting with, believe it or not, engagement campaigns or video view campaigns, which are the ones that bring you the lowest cost, because conversion campaigns are way more expensive. That's when you want like people to purchase. But what engagement campaigns do and video view campaigns do is that they put you in front of your audience and you're creating that engagement. It's like you're amplifying your organic strategy and getting in front of way more people and paying, like you're giving Facebook money to create more engagement for your account. So what you're doing is actually like three things. The first one, you're building your audience and putting people in front of you, so you can also do your magic through your ads. Like you can say in an engagement campaign, you can send them to your website, but the main goal of an engagement campaign is no clicks, because that's a different campaign. It's for them to engage with you and to start recognizing you. That way, when they're like, for example, for me, and I'm running a bunch of engagement campaigns and video campaigns, when people are engaged with me, then they're like, oh, I need Facebook ads. Who are they going to think of? Myself, right? And then they're going to go check me on Instagram or Facebook, and they're going to click on my link and they're going to go into my website. So if you have very little budget, I will start with those. I wouldn't start with selling your products. I wouldn't start with, you could start with sending people to your email list, but that's going to require more money. And again, you don't want to do anything with sending people to your email list if you're not emailing them, if you're not showing up organically, if you're not doing anything else, because then you're getting people on your list and that's it. You're paying for somebody to go on your list, but you're not like showing up for them. So you're wasting your money. So I always say also, Facebook ads is just one piece of the puzzle. You got to make sure if you're running Facebook ads, you got to have a social media strategy, an email marketing strategy, other channels where you're showing up for your audience. That way they keep in touch with you. When you have something to sell them, they're ready to buy because they build that relationship with you.
It's like you said, it's got to be part of your strategy. You can't just decide to throw money at Facebook and hope that something sticks and hope that the right people click and money just pops into your bank account. It's not going to happen. As you said, it's about that wide strategy there, which I think, it comes back to the point that, we're all working in our digital businesses. We've all got we've all got our ideas flying in, but it's making sure if you're a person who mind maps or lists or business plans, whatever it is that you do, making sure that you've got that overall strategy always at the core, so that everything that you do in your business can come back to what is that strategy, what are you trying to achieve ultimately.
Correct. So your strategy could be like, okay, I'm gonna get in front of a bunch of people through Facebook ads, through engagement in Instagram, through engagement in video views, and then I'm gonna show up on social media to invite them for my lead magnet, and then I'm gonna set up my email funnel. So by the fifth email, I invite them to opt in for my tiny offer, like my $7 product. And then my tiny offer, I sell them upsells. And then guess what? Those are gonna be the warmest. I hate calling people leads, like the warmest audience for your high ticket item or for your high ticket product, because you spent the time to build that relationship with them.
Absolutely. Because I think we've got to think of this as ourselves, as that, we can't expect to just put ads in front of people and have them buy from us, because when was the last time that we clicked on a cold ad on Facebook and bought something ourselves? Well, I don't know about you, but it hasn't actually ever happened to me. So why would I expect people to do the same for my brand? So as you said, it's warming people up. You did mention something which I do want to dive into a little bit. You talked about the different campaigns that Facebook run. Now, for anybody who is currently sitting there thinking, I just thought a Facebook ad was a Facebook ad, what are the different campaigns that Facebook run? Just very, very briefly, because I realized that we could probably do a whole podcast episode on each type
That is
campaign.
such an amazing question. Actually, I don't think anybody has asked me that question before, and it's so important.
Oh, really?
When
Okay,
that's
interesting.
About walking people through a funnel through Facebook ads, if you have a strong budget for it, because you do need a strong budget just to walk people through a funnel through Facebook ads, you can do engagement, you can do brand awareness ads to just get in front of a bunch of people and for them to start to recognize you. You can do engagement ads where people will actually comment, like, and share your posts. You can do video view ads where Facebook will serve those ads to your audience who is likely to watch your videos. And guess what? People engage a lot through videos because it's kind of, you're like building that relationship with them. So that's a great way to create engagement with them. But this is called a video view campaigns. You can create a conversion campaign, which you can either select the lead objective, which is for like sending people to your email list, or the purchase objective to get people to purchase your product, or you can also select clicks or landing page views, where this is for sending traffic to your website. So there's so many options on Facebook ads, but that's such a good question, which is the issue that happens when people boost their posts, because that's just boosting. You can select an objective with boosting. So that's the big difference. And that's what it means, like a different type of ad.
I'm glad I asked that question now, because I think there are probably a lot of people, and again, this was myself at the beginning of my business, just thinking, well, a Facebook ad's a Facebook ad. But as you said, because it has to keep coming back to this strategy, and we have to know what we want out of a campaign. So what I'd really recommend to listeners is, if you are thinking of doing a Facebook ad, or even if you've got Facebook ads running, is maybe even just pause here, go back 5 minutes, just listen to those different types of campaigns that Ana listed off, and really dive deep. Do your research. Is your campaign the best one? Particularly if you're DIYing your Facebook ads at the moment, which is nothing wrong with that. But particularly if you are DIYing them, just go through those different types of campaigns that Ana mentioned there, just to really make sure that your campaign is going to work for whatever it is that you want to get out of the campaign. Because the last thing you want to do is find out that you've run for a month, you've put loads of money in, and only to find that actually that was not the best campaign type for what you were trying to achieve. So I'd really, really recommend just going over that 5-minute segment there that Ana just did, breaking down those different types of campaigns, because I think that is so much wealth in just that few.
Yes, definitely.
If you need,
if your audience needs extra help with this, you can go to anakatzdigital.com/free download. And I have a download there. It's a PDF where I literally explain to you what the different type of ads are there and how to walk people through a funnel. So what different objectives you can select based on your strategy.
Amazing. I'm going to get that link down in the show notes because that sounds like it's going to be an amazing resource for all of our listeners there. So I'm glad we touched on this because otherwise we wouldn't have found out about that free download. So that's great. So what I'd like to ask you next then is, what are your top tips for running a successful Facebook ad campaign?
My top tips are, the first one, please make sure you know pushing that boosting button. If you have been doing that, please stop doing that. You're just literally giving your money to Facebook. The second one is, before you run any ad, make sure you have a strategy in place, not just for Facebook ads, but for your whole digital marketing strategy. And the last one is, make sure you educate yourself before running your ad, so that way you know what to do and you don't spend a lot of money trying to figure out what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right. And the main one of all is, just make sure you have a proven offer before you spend money on Facebook ads, because you want to be, when you're running ads on Facebook, your main goal is to figure out what's not working with the ad, as opposed to if what's not working is the ad, or what's not working is the offer.
I think those are fantastic tips. So thank you so much for sharing those with us. And my final question then to you is, what is the key takeaway that you would like our listeners to have from this episode?
I think the key takeaway is, there's no right or wrong way to run the ads. It's just whatever works for you, your business, and your strategy. Don't, like you said before, you've seen people who recommend to highly spend $300 or $1,000 or $3,000. It's just what works for your strategy. There's so many ways to make Facebook ads work for you. You don't always have to run just conversion campaigns to get people to buy from you. If you have a strong strategy, digital marketing strategy with your email marketing, your social media, organic, you can use Facebook ads in a different way to get in front of a much bigger audience. Especially if you're brand new, if you don't have a big audience, use Facebook ads to grow your audience in a very organic way. You know how you are in social media and you're scrolling, and then you engage with a really cool post, and then you realize it was an ad and you didn't even notice at first. That's what I would recommend.
I love that. So many amazing tips there. So thank you so, so much. Before you go though, please, can you tell us, how can our listeners engage with you, interact with you? If they want to find out more about what you do, how can they find out more about you?
Yes, of course. So you can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm hanging out the most, at Ana Katz Digital. That's my Instagram handle. And you can also go on my website, anakatzdigital.com. If you go into the blog link, you can see a bunch of videos, are the same videos that are on YouTube. They're like vlogs where you can see the video, and also the blog if you like reading more. But I have so many amazing tips on how to get started with Instagram ads, Facebook ads, what to do, what not to do. So that way, if you maybe don't have the budget yet to invest on a coach or an ads manager, you can get yourself learning Facebook ads there. Or if you would like to know more about my offers and how I can help you scale your business, you can just go into the contact section of my website, or you can just DM me on Instagram.
Fantastic. Well, Ana, thank you so much. This has been such an amazing vault of wealth, this episode. And I know that so many people are going to have found it so, so useful. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Bloggers Creating Courses. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, leave a rating and a review. Ratings and reviews help us to reach more people who want to build and scale their online course. So you're really helping to widen the support for our blogging community. To catch all of the latest from me, you can follow me on Instagram @VeritySongon. I'll see you next time. Happy content creating.